Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. Tell me what it's like to live in Hollywood. Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. Tell me what it's like to live a life in Hollywood. I'ma survive, I'ma survive, I'ma survive, I'ma survive Hollywood.
Hey, welcome back everybody to Surviving Hollywood podcast. My name is Aaron.
My name's Austin.
And I'm Johnny Ray Diaz.
And we're back.
Officially back permanently, maybe.
Took a little bit of a hiatus for a little bit of time, but we're back with a vengeance. We have a lot to say. Any explanation as to what?
Do we have a lot to say?
Tons.
I'm just kidding. No. Yeah.
Johnny, your voice as a person of color is more important than ever. I just want you to know that from one white person to
another,
an ally to a
mixed, to a Latino.
Come on. No, we're all just joking around, but yeah, we do have something to say.
Well, I just wanted to. This has obviously been on a hiatus for I don't know how long has it been. Has it been like a few weeks, a month, 2 months?
Define it. So when they look back at this podcast, they never know.
January. It was like I think January was the last time we had a pod, right? So it's been a little while. So I just wanted to explain the hiatus because the hiatus was essentially due to me. So just real quick, I wanted to touch on that, and then just kind of give the audience an update of what we've been up to. And what we got coming up in the future. So I took a hiatus. Mostly I told these guys because I was dealing with some mental health issues, some heavy depression, anxiety, things like that. And I didn't feel like I was in a good place to continue doing this out of a love for it. It would almost feel like I would literally just be doing it just to do it. And I didn't feel like I was in a good place mentally to be able to continue doing this with the same vigor of life, basically.
And honestly, that's on our audience for not showing the love enough. They need to be commenting, they need to be liking, they need to be getting on iTunes and reviewing the podcast 5 stars. That stuff matters. And that stuff is a real motivator if you're, trying to do a podcast. So, guys, please don't let this happen to us again. Get on iTunes.
I blame the podcast.
Yeah.
Exactly. I blame the podcast. So, but anyway, I feel better. Not obviously 100, but I'm here. I want to continue the podcast. I think it's important. I enjoy it. I love hanging out with you guys. I love talking to awesome guests and at the same time, helping the audience out. So yeah. So my apologies to you guys, but I had to step away. You know what I mean? But I'm back, and hopefully, it stays this way.
If you accept Johnny's apology, if you're watching this on YouTube, let us know down below. If you're listening to this on iTunes, reach out to Johnny on Instagram, slide into his DM, say, "Hey, bro, from another bro, let's talk."
Well, I'm not on Instagram right now, but
I have some questions, Johnny. I'm glad that we're back. Things I get out of this podcast the most is talking shop with you guys, but also increasing, befriending the guests that we have on, maybe an actor or a director that I would only see on set for one day. We get to have an hour-long conversation if they jump on. But just general questions, like what are the symptoms? Like when you say you were in a really dark place, is that a dark cloud over your head is what I hear?
Well, I guess maybe if you guys haven't experienced depression, but I've dealt with depression pretty much my whole life without really realizing it. I think it kind of came the last probably like two years or so. It was kind of pretty heavy. But for anybody out there feeling something, it's definitely like a dark cloud that you carry with you 24/7. It never really goes away. It's just kind of constantly there, kind of nagging at you. I think the part of the problem is, and even with what we do, is that it's easy to get very disheartened, right? Because you're working on a project, constant rejection, never knowing when the next job is going to come. There's really no security, constantly having to prove yourself. So that can be very challenging too, especially for someone that kind of deals with that. Now, and I'm not necessarily blaming that as saying that's the reason why I felt this way. Yeah, it is a lot of like dark nights, feeling like there's a dark cloud always around me. Seeking purpose, I think has been like my biggest, one of my biggest challenges in my life, is seeking purpose, trying to understand why we are here as a human race, asking myself these big questions. What's the point of life? What's the point of being here? Why do we do anything on this rat race? Why do we do anything in life? Sort of having these very existential questions about life. And I think in a lot of ways also finding purpose for myself. What am I here for? What am I supposed to do? What was I designed to do? And I think not really finding satisfaction in that or finding answers to that has made it harder. So, that's just a small part of kind of what I was feeling or what I was kind of going through. And there's also, family issues and childhood stuff and, broken friendships and relationships and a little bit of everything. Right. And then eventually it kind of takes its toll and, you kind of end up where you are and you're like, all right, I need to like take a break for a second and like chill, but it's tough because I think a lot of this too made me really question whether I even want to do any of this. And I think I've said that to you guys before. I'm like, man, I don't know. Do you guys still really want to be actors? Do you still really want to do this? Is this like still the thing? Like, do you don't want to like?
When Johnny says that, in my opinion, relatively speaking, Johnny books so much, great actor, and he's like, dude, do you even want to like? Man, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm like, dude, if you don't want to do it.
Well, I think a part of it is the greater questions of like, is this it? Is this all of it? Like, is this my life? Like auditioning, working, like, but then what? Like, there's got to be more.
Then you add on a podcast and then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, little things like that.
But I feel you. I don't mean to make a joke out of all of it.
No. I understand. And one of my sort of coping, I've sort of realized that like a lot of my coping is through humor. And so I'll make jokes about stuff because I don't want to talk about how I really feel. So that's fine. But yeah, man, it's just it's been interesting and so I'm actually in therapy now for a lot of things.
Zoom therapy?
What's that?
Zoom?
Zoom therapy, because that's the only thing that they can do right now because you can't do in-person stuff.
How many days a week do you go?
It's just once a week. But I try to do a lot of other things during the week that I feel like have at least temporarily made me feel better. Like I try to do float therapy, acupuncture.
What is float therapy?
Saltwater.
Self-deprivation tank.
Really? Joe Rogan style.
Yeah, I have a membership at a place. I've been going there for
go down to like
months.
the boardwalk and you like that's where they have it, right?
No, there's one in Pasadena. It's like one of the biggest ones. Rogan's mentioned it, but it's a place called Just Float in Pasadena.
And the water
that's kind of helped me.
The water temperature like matches your body temperature, right?
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with it, audience is not familiar with it, you essentially enter like this sensory deprivation tank where it's completely pitch black. You can't see anything. You can't hear anything. And you lay on mineralized water.
So it's like you're exactly floating in the middle.
Yeah, you float on the water. The water's not that deep. It's pretty shallow, but you float in the water, and it just essentially holds your body up. It almost feels like you are floating, and because all your other senses are sort of diminished, you really kind of just sit with yourself and your mind. And
sounds great for somebody who's depressed.
I mean, I've gone like mentally, I've gone into like a lot of like visual places and things like that. So it's been an interesting experience of like seeing different things and like reliving moments in your life. And I mean, I recommend it for people. It's not for everybody, but I like it, you know? But yeah, so I've been doing stuff like that and just trying to get healthier, you know? So a little bit of everything, but yeah.
And I think, you know, we do have a strong Latino audience of filmmakers that listens to this. And I know you were saying before, mental health, it's not that accepted in the Latino community. How did, like when are your parents supportive generally of you seeking help?
So sort of blanket the community, I would say, I mean, that might not apply in every circle, but I would say for the most part, typical like Latin household, you don't really talk about your feelings. You don't really talk about how you're feeling. It kind of makes you come off a little weak. So if you're having a bad day, you take it out on somebody else and you move on, and that's it, you know? Nah, just kidding. But not really. But yeah, it definitely is like that. You know, it's a little more taboo, I would say, you know, to have these feelings. Like if you say like, hey, I'm kind of like depressed or I'm kind of feeling a certain way, it's like, well, you know, just take a walk or something, you'll be fine. Or you know, you just gotta pray about it. You know, you're not praying enough. You gotta pray, God will take care of it, and then end of story. That's the typical thing. Or you just don't say anything at all. You never talk about it. And that's kind of the position that I'm in, is you never mention anything. And so, you know, that makes things difficult as you get older because you tend to hold a lot of things in. And that's one of my problems, is that like, I don't really share emotions with a lot of people because I just don't really know how sometimes. So I'll tend to keep things to myself, a lot. It's a way of like guarding yourself. It's a way of protecting yourself. But when you've done it your whole life, it's kind of hard to break that cycle. So it's kind of something I'm working on now through therapy, and hopefully one day I can come out on the other end and be a little bit more like more normal, you know?
Hey, there is no normal.
No, there isn't actually, but I think just being able to express myself without fear of judgment or feeling shameful or I don't know. I think being able to communicate with a friend and just tell them how you really feel, as opposed to just putting on a face and saying like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, that would say that's probably the goal, basically.
You can always talk to me, buddy.
You can always have this podcast. I'm going to change it to a mental health one.
That'd be freeing. Hey, and final question, yes or no, will you be going on medication, or is that not for you?
It was recommended to me based on my sort of symptoms and kind of what I told my therapist I've been feeling. She strongly recommended medication, but I have not dove into that world yet. One, because I'm a little bit afraid of it. I don't know what it's going to do to me mentally. I've heard things like it tends to kind of mess up your creativity a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I'll probably try it eventually, just to see what happens. I mean, I can always stop taking it, but yeah, I got to set that up. Basically, I got to talk to a psychiatrist, and they're the only ones that can prescribe that, and then kind of take it from there.
That I think Kanye was dealing with months ago. Like, he didn't want to go on any medication when he was like ranting about, you know, his abortion and everything. He was like,
yeah, on Rogan.
Medication because I'm a creative guy.
Yeah, because I've heard from like different people that it tends to kind of stifle the creativity, and if you're in a creative field, it's like, well, I kind of need that. So,
but also, how creative are you if you're feeling so dark? When you have to memorize lines, you don't feel like learning the script if you're in a dark place.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, there is definitely like this, especially when you get like a stupid audition, or you're just like, oh, man, another procedural. Like, come on. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm like, here we go. It's fine. I mean, do it, but it just doesn't really excite me. Yeah, you don't feel like doing them with that looming over your head for sure. But at the same time, when I am in like a pretty dark place, which kind of sucks, I feel like that's when like my best writing comes out, or like my best, I don't know. I feel like a lot of ideas spawn when I'm in like a kind of a shitty place.
I remember when you were directing one of our short films and, you know, just about ready to like pass a kidney stone. You were in so much pain. That was your best work.
And that film has gone on to do nothing yet.
And by the way, I love, Johnny saying, I'm afraid, like, what's this depression pill going to do to my body? Oh, maybe it'll cure your depression.
Well, I don't know if there's a cure for it. There's not really a cure for it, but I think it might help. I mean, she broke it down. She's like, it honestly you could have like a chemical imbalance, and that could literally be like, you need it. And that might very well be the situation. Because I do find myself a lot of times just feeling sad for like no reason at all. Like, just like I wake up and I'm like, today's going to be like a fucking shitty day. You know what I mean? And like, I just know it is. Like, I can feel it inside of me. And then you just try to kind of like move on and just keep going. But it's a process. It's going to take time. It's not going to, be done overnight. It's probably going to take years. But I'm making an effort, and this is part of the effort, is getting on this podcast, talking about it. And then also, keeping it moving forward, so, because I enjoy it. I like what we have going on here and what we built, and I want to keep doing it. So,
and all jokes aside, I'm serious. If you ever are feeling down and you seriously do want to talk, we can say, hey, screw the podcast. If you want to talk to somebody, I'm just saying, like, your mental health is more important than this podcast, even though I do want to continue the podcast.
No, and I understand that, and I appreciate it. But my problem is that I don't talk to anybody about it. That's what I'm working on, because I always have people like, hey, if you need to talk, reach out. And I'm usually like, I appreciate that. I'm not going to reach out, but thank you for offering.
In fact, it annoys me that you're asking.
So that's one of my problems that I'm trying to work on now, is like being open to talking about stuff. So, but it's a work in progress, and thank you guys for the concern, but I'll be fine. It'll take a while. So,
is there a certain amount of like subscribers you could hit on Instagram, followers, that would cure the depression? If we could just,
I'm not on Instagram, dude. I'll get back on Instagram, but I took a hiatus because social media was also destroying my soul. So,
because you see the perfect lives that everybody's putting out.
It's none of it's real, man.
Yeah, that's
just this fabrication. And
they see all your cool stuff on Instagram. You're probably,
and they're like, man, well, it's exactly what you guys said. You're like, well, why does he want to quit acting? He seems like he's working and he's doing stuff. And I've had other people tell me that too. Like, I was just talking to a friend texting the other day, and I jokingly told her like I moved back to Arizona. I was like, she's like, hey, we just worked on SWAT together actually, and I knew her before that. It was kind of happenstance. We got booked for a similar role, and we kind of connected again. And I was talking to her, and I was like, yeah, I'm moving back to Arizona. And she's like, but why? Like, you're doing so well, this and this and that. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, there's more to it. There's more than just that. And like that perception you see on like Instagram and all that, like, I mean, it's all baloney. You know what I mean? Like, we put all the best photos up, we put all like the highlights and all this and that, and like, none of that shit's real. You know what I mean? Like, so I kind of got tired of it. I got tired of the politics. I couldn't deal with that anymore. I got tired with people seeking
Trump.
What's that? Right. My boy lost. I got tired of the people seeking validation for their opinions and everything. I got tired of like the fake social justice things that people are like, oh, I really care about this cause.
I get tired of that.
Let me just throw up a thing on my story that's gone in 24 hours. I'm like, yeah, you really cared about it. Very trendy of you.
Seems like you cared about that picture you posted. You were posing for
right. That shot in the bikini. I don't know what that has to do with Black Lives Matter, but cool.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I just kind of got sick of it. I mean, I'm gonna have to probably come back at some point and just to promote stuff I'm working on, but like
just hire an assistant to do it for you. That way you never have to check.
Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna lay off it a lot and like I just don't honestly I don't really care for it. Yeah, I've actually been doing better not having it. Like mentally, I feel better. So I know for the sake of my mental health, it's not probably good for me to be on social media. But yeah. So here I am. Thumbs up, guys.
I applaud your courage to speak about this, because like you said, it is stigmatized by every community. But
and I'll probably never work again, guys. I mean, damn, you know.
Well, let's talk about in our final
work
5-7 minutes. Like, you know, this is
we keep it quick.
Yeah, exactly. So Johnny, I know you've
done like 3 huge things.
Yeah.
What?
You've just done like 3 huge things.
Oh yeah. So since January, let's talk about what we've all kind of been up to kind of segue off of that, because I think that's a good explanation of what's happened. So for the audience, we're back, guys. Keep tuning in. It's going to be happening. But anyway, at least me, I mean, I've somehow, even though like times are like, seem like they're slow with COVID, I think I've been working more now than I was last year. I just did a guest star on All Rise on CBS. And then right before that, I did a guest star on SWAT. And then right before that, I did a 3rd episode of Bosch, another recurring guest star on that. And all that stuff will probably be coming out super soon. I shot a commercial for Google that is airing now, I believe. I think my agent just sent me the commercial. I just booked a video game, signed an NDA for that. Don't know what it is, but I'm excited for it because I remember at the callback, which I did in Arizona on Zoom, the client was in London and they had me do like, it was like a half-hour callback of like doing voices for like tons of different characters. And I think they were just trying to figure out where they wanted to use me.
You were doing
that was a lot of fun. Yeah, because they had, so I read for one of the main characters. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of dialogue, but then they also wanted me to do these scenarios where like, hey, you're in a cab. And
could you do the accents like Jimmy Fallon style, kind of just go through ones you can do?
I'll do a couple. Oh, well, it was kind of hard because they put you on the spot, right? And they're like, hey, can you do this like cab scenario, sort of an improv? Like you're jumping into a cab. All I knew is the game was sort of like a Grand Theft Auto type of thing. And they're like, you're in a car and you're telling this guy where you want to go. And they're like, can you do it in different voices? And I was like, oh man, you're putting me on the spot. Yeah, let's just try. And so like, I did like an old man voice. I got an old man voice. You guys want to hear it? Should we hear the old man voice? So I can come in and be like, hello. Hey, look here. Hey, sonny boy, come on. Hey, I'm trying to get in here. Let me in the car. Let me into the car. Come on. Come on. So that's my old man, right?
That's
the
great.
Old man.
Sounded a bit Jewish.
I know. I made it. He's kind of he is Jewish, actually. Yeah. I imagine him like an old Jewish man complaining at a deli, you know? Hey, is this kosher? Is this kosher?
Dude,
come on.
You're trying to work in Hollywood, yet you take every opportunity to make fun of the Jews.
I'm making fun of them, man. I love them. Anyway, I did like a surfer dude, I think, or something. Very Keanu, like, oh, bro. Oh, this ride is sick. Oh, my God, gnarly. You know, so it's kind of like just stuff like that. I don't know, man. You know, just voices of whatever would come up. But
I mean, those are perfect for a Grand Theft Auto type game.
What about like a Speedy Gonzalez kind of voice?
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, señora Rontorilla. I don't know that. I don't know, man.
Speedy Gonzalez and Pepe Le Pew are both canceled. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Yeah, for good reason. Racist. Anyway.
Because we hate the French and we hate the
Mexicans.
Whoa, come on.
Say it, dude. Say it. Go ahead. Say it.
I love those cartoons.
Say it.
I love Speedy Gonzalez way more than Pepe Le Pew. He was kind of creepy.
Next thing you're gonna say, I love Taco Bell.
Watching Pepe Le Pew is like watching an SNL bit. It's like, yeah, it's the same joke over and over again. You can't catch it.
Anyway, that's what I've been up to. What about you guys? What have you guys been working on? What's going on with you guys?
I mean, I think for those of you who follow us on social media, you guys have all seen our episode of 911 Lone Star just dropped. We were conjoined twins. Johnny helped us with our audition. And I must say, for twin auditions where Aaron and I can't read for each other, where we need a reader, Johnny, you're 2 for 2.
Hey, now you know who to go to, guys. If you want to book it.
You read for Splitting Image, our Lifetime movie, as well as this one, but that turned out great. I'll be in an episode of Insecure. Can't really say anymore, but season 5.
Last season, right?
Final season. They
Final
finally invited me on.
There you go. Did you talk about Sharonis at all? Did you mention Sharonis?
I talked about it with Sharonis about the thing.
Okay. You didn't say to Issa Rae, yo, I know Sharonis, he's my boy. This is us in 2014.
Well, believe me, I had it on my sleeve, hoping to bring up, because the one thing Sharonis told me is Natasha, the one who plays Kelly Prenny, her name's Natasha in real life. Sharonis was telling me like, oh man, she's a great improviser. You'll have fun in this scene. And so I was like, that's can be my kind of in to bring up that I know Sharonis, because I don't want to just, overpower it into the conversation. But actually she didn't go back to the green room or whatever with all of us. She was like always in her car. I think she was like working on another show or a different script or something. So there was really no way for me. I don't know. I didn't really get the in to mention it to Issa or any of the cast. Like, hey, by the way, I'm friends with Sharonis.
I mean, I feel like you could have just said it, right? Be like, hey, by the way, we have a mutual friend.
I chickened out.
I tried that on SWAT because I have a friend of mine. I told her I booked this, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm friends with Jay. You should tell him like I said hello." And I was like, "All right." And I had a couple scenes with him, and I remember one time he was kind of chilling by himself, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, Jay?" Actually, my friend, I'm not gonna say who it was, but my friend wanted to say hello. She says hi, and I've worked with her before, and she said she's friends with you, and he's like, "Who?" And I was like, oh, this person. And he's like, I don't know why. Like, that doesn't ring a bell, man. And I was like, oh, this is awkward. He's like, you have a picture of her? And I was like, nah, man, I'm not on social media. And she actually doesn't have it either. And I was like, man. He's like, I don't know. This is kind of embarrassing. He's like, I don't really know. I don't really know. And I was just like, anyway, all right, man. Well, he's like, don't tell her that this happened. And I was like, well, that's awkward. That that's like the last thing you want. Who is that? I don't know. I just made it up.
I did bring up Sharonis, and they're like, who? Nah, Sharonis.
I'm sure they know him.
Key part of that show.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else?
Just got some international royalties from Splitting Image.
Big money or what?
Small money.
Those international royalties, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Besides that, Austin mentioned this show on Fox. What else? I don't know.
I mean, Bitcoin's up. Our crypto channel is still going strong.
There you go.
Everybody should buy some Bitcoin before it gets over.
So how much Bitcoin do you guys have, by the way?
I have no funny answer to that. But
come on. We all want to know, man.
It's bad practice. It's bad practice.
Hey, how much money is in your bank account, bud?
I'll tell you.
No.
All right. If you have more than 100,000 in Bitcoin,
whoa, dude,
you're gonna stay silent right now.
I wish.
I knew it, dude. I knew it. All right.
Anyway,
one day,
if I had more than 100K, do you think I'd be slumming it on this podcast? No, dude, I'd be retired.
All right. Well, fair enough. But anyway, yeah, I think we kind of give a good update of everything. Again, guys, tune in.
Johnny, where can our audience reach you now? I mean, there's probably a lot of people who want to contact you. How do they do it?
They can email me. That's the best way. survivinghollywoodpodcast@gmail.com. That's right. survivinghollywoodpodcast@gmail.com.
Business inquiries only. Thank you.
Business inquiries only. I'll come back to Instagram eventually, but for now I'm chilling. But yeah, they can hit us up there, and make sure you guys again like, subscribe, listen on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, the whole thing. And yeah, we got a new episode coming out with a great actor on Glee. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. All right. Tune in, guys.